everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute Macrame Santa hat tree ornament. I think it's so cute, but I think it would also make a really lovely present topper. So first of all, you will need some scissors. These are the ones that I sell on my Etsy shop. They are super sharp and they come in this matte black or metallic gold. Which one's your favourite? I really can't pick, to be honest. You will need 16 lots of 80cm lengths of 3mm cord. Here I'm just using a single twist cord. One lot of 120cm length. One 34cm length. One 5.5 wooden hoop, which I'll have linked down below. One 1.5cm pom-pom, which I will also have linked down below for you. Some fabric glue, or you could stitch the pom-pom on, it's up to you. Jewellery pliers, these are optional but they do come in handy later on. And of course you'll need a tape measure. So let's get started. So first off we are going to be grabbing our wooden hoop and the 16 lots of 80cm length of cord, and we're going to attach them using a lark's head knot. So take one cord and fold it in half just like this. Then take the midway point through your hoop and underneath, and then we're going to pass these two cords through the loop that we have created just here, and then just pull that through and pull it to tighten it, and that is a lark's head knot. And it's a super easy knot to make, and it's one of the most common knots in macrame as well, so it's handy to know. So we're just going to be repeating that for all of these 16 cords, going around all of the wooden hoop, doing the exact same knot that we've just done, until it looks something like this. And now we need to just split two of the cords in half just to make a gap. Just like that. Then we can go ahead and grab our 120cm length of cord. Going to attach that in that gap using the exact same lark's head knot that we made before. So now it's time to split that cord into the two different cords. And the cord that's on the left, so the first cord from that 120cm length of cord, we are going to measure out 40cm from the end. So just like that, so I've got the 40cm mark at my fingertips. And then we're going to loosen the knot at the top, and we're going to make it so that 40cm mark is at the bottom of the wooden hoop. So you can see I'm just loosening the knot and then pulling the other cord just to tighten the knot, so the 40cm mark will be at the top of the hoop. Just like that. So that cord on the left should be 40cm, should be the same length as the other cords, and you'll have a bit more added length onto the cord on the right. And the right cord is the cord that's going to be going around the whole of the hat. So I'm going to separate it, so I've got that long cord from that 120cm length, and then I've got the next two cords available. And we're going to create double clove hitch knots. So in order to do that, take the long cord over the cord that's available, like this, and then take that cord, bring it up and over like this to create this loop, and then bring it behind and through the gap there, just like that. And then you can tighten that to the top of your hoop, like so. And then we're going to repeat the exact same steps on the same cord. So this time it just looks a little different because the cord angle is different now. But again, we're going to lay this one on top of the long cord, put it behind, and then through that loop that we created. So it may look a bit confusing, but honestly it's super simple once you get the hang of it. So I'm taking the next available cord, so you can see my long cord is hanging over that one. And then I'm going to pop this cord over the long cord, create that loop, pass it from behind and through the loop. And make sure to repeat that twice with each cord so you get a double clove hitch knot. And then just keep on repeating with the next cord that's available, making sure to repeat it twice. And you should really start to get the hang of this knot soon, and you'll probably be able to do it with your eyes closed or not even looking at what you're working on. So just carry on doing that, making sure to keep the knots nice and tight and even. So this will be a lot easier to make as well if you do it hanging up. I just find it's easier to show you when I'm sitting down. But you can see I have just pushed the cords, so now they're sitting on top of the hoop, so the hoop will become the rim of the hat. So you can just see that the first row we're creating is on top of the hoop now, it's not against the side. So just carry on doing that, making sure that you're now building your row on top of the wooden hoop. So it does look a bit confusing with all of the cords, but I promise you it'll get easier once the rows start decreasing in the amount of knots. So just carry on doing that until you get to the starting point. And you can just push the knots along the cord just to make sure that they're nice and neat, and that will give you a bit more room to add the next knot on. It will also make it nice and sturdy. So here you can see I've just completed the first row now, and I've ended up back at my starting point. So we're going to go ahead and start building the second row. But in order for the hat size to decrease, we need to start missing out some cords. So what we're going to do is we're going to build 2 knots in the exact same way we've done before. So creating that loop, passing it behind and then through the loop, and repeating twice on each cord. So that's 1 knot done, so I'm going to create the second knot, and then we're going to leave out the third cord. We're not going to create a knot with that one. So I've done 2 knots, so this third cord I'm just going to skip it basically. We're not going to use that cord now. So then I'm going to continue doing this the whole second row of this hat. So make 2 knots and then skip out the third cord. And this will slowly decrease the size of the circle shape that we're making, so it'll help make it look more like a hat. So continue doing that, going the whole way around, making sure to miss out the third cord, and then we'll come back for the third row. Okay, so now that that second row is completely finished, I find it easier to pull the cords that we skipped through the hoop, as we won't be using them anymore, so it's best just to get them out of the way so it doesn't get too confusing with all of the cords. So just like that, I've pulled all the cords that we skipped out on that last row through the hoop, so we're done with those now. So now there's less cords to work with. So we're going to continue on doing this, and again for this row we are going to create 2 knots, skip the third, create 2 and skip the third. But you might find that you need to skip more cords now that the rows are decreasing, which is absolutely fine. You should just do what feels right to you. So sometimes I would create 1 knot and then skip a cord. It just depends on how much room you have and how thick your cords are. So just do whatever feels right for you. And you can see we're on to the 4th row now. So I'm just carrying on, skipping out whatever cords feel right, and you can start to see the hat will start to taper in and take form. So just continue doing all of this and pulling your cords through the middle as you go, just to make it a bit neater and easier for you to create. I'm right at the top of the hat now, so I've just got 2 cords left, so I'm going to create a knot with 1. We still need to leave a tiny gap because we need to pull these cords through, and we also need to add the hanging cord. So I'm just going to create my last knot now with the last cord. And then this is when the jewellery pliers really come in handy, because I can push them through the middle to help me pull these last cords through the middle. Just like that. So now it's all nice and neat, and it does kind of look like a jellyfish here. I think that would make a really cute macrame jellyfish if that's something that you wanted to make. So now we can go ahead and grab our 34cm length of cord, and we're just going to tie this in a double knot. So I'm taking the 2 ends, wrapping them around like this, behind, and then passing it through the gap, pulling that tight, and then I'm just repeating that exact same step. So it'll create a nice bulky knot so it won't get pulled through the hat or anything. Now to attach this hoop, this is where the pliers really come in handy again. We're going to go from the top through the middle of the hat, find the pliers, grip onto the hanging loop, and then we're just going to pull that through. So you see it makes a really nice neat finish, and the knot is hidden inside the hat, but it'll be nice and secure. Now we can go ahead and grab our scissors and just start trimming off all of these excess cords. You might find it easier if you push the hat in a bit so more of the cords are exposed and you can snip them closer to the rows of knots. But just carry on doing that, going around and snipping off all of these excess cords until it looks something like this. So you can see I've pushed my hat in a bit, so I'm just going to pop it back out, make it nice and neat, and make sure that all the cords are hiding inside of the hat. And don't forget, you can keep all of these scrap cords because there's so many things you can make with scrap cords, and I'll have my scrap cord playlist linked here as well because I think there's some really handy tricks you can create with them to create texture in your wall hangings as well. And last but not least, we just need to glue on our pom-pom. Oh, it looks so cute. So I'm just going to grab my fabric glue, or alternatively you could use a needle and thread if you didn't have any fabric glue. I'll have this sewing kit linked below because I've used it so many times now and it's really cheap and you get everything included. So I'm just going to decide which way I want the pom-pom to be facing to go in front of the hanging loop, and then I'm just going to dab on a bit of glue, dab on my pom-pom and push it on a bit to make sure it's got a nice hold, and then I'm just going to leave that to dry. Now that it's dry, it is time to admire our cute little Santa hat, and we can go ahead and hang it up on our tree or add it to a present. I think you could even hoop this around a bottle of wine, if that makes sense, around the neck of a bottle of wine. I think that would be such a cute wine gift. If you do make this, please be sure to tag me on Instagram at LunaCraftsOnline, because as always, I really love seeing your creations. And I really hope you've had a great 2022. And I hope to see you in 2023 with loads and loads of new exciting projects. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you have a lovely week. Bye!